Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's topic we are talking about Mortal Kombat characters, and I am tier ranking them based on if they had a solo project or a movie with another character, because some of these characters cannot have a solo movie without other characters. And when I'm doing the video, you'll see some examples about some characters needing other characters to tell their story. But no further ado, let's get into the video. Also, by the way, if you are watching this and you enjoy the content, subscribe. Why not? It won't hurt you. It might hurt my feelings if you don't. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, first off, we have Baraka, who is the Darkatan leader of his tribe, and if he was to get a solo movie, I would honestly enjoy it, to be honest with you guys. And essentially, in my head, it would be like a movie about his tribe and him being a leader, and maybe some conflict in the Tarkatan race that requires him to fight another member for the head of, the tribe. And I feel like that would give Baraka new life as like a hero among his people, because I'm pretty sure he is like the hero to them, but like obviously in the Mortal Kombat realm he is a villain. But yeah, if he was to get a solo movie, I would honestly give it a high tier ranking. So let's go to the tier ranking real quick. To be honest, I'll honestly give Baraka I'll give him an A. High key. It would be a fun movie. Alright, next we have let's go Cyber Sub-Zero, and to be honest, I'm gonna put him in D. He was like a short character, honestly, nothing to really talk about. We have Cyrax, who, to be honest, not really that interesting, but he is one of the example of the characters who would need another character, that being who we'll talk about later. But alright, now we're on to the next character, that being Ermac. Now, for Ermac, I got a little something different, alright? Hear me out. What happened if Ermac's story was completely different? Like, he was not resurrected by Shao Kahn to be his lackey. What if Ermac was in a horror franchise? Now, hear me out. What if Ermac was a serial killer who everyone he killed, he took their soul, and then there's a bunch of like detectives and stuff trying to find him, but they can't because every person he kills, they are gray and they look like prunes, and he's just like this entity who takes souls and basically is like a Jason or like a Freddy Krueger. He only comes around a certain place, like a temple of like the fallen soldiers who Ermac originally takes in his Mortal Kombat form. And like he beats everyone. Like he's like, no, he does like his normal Mortal Kombat stuff, but like in a movie, and he is just like a serial killer. To me, that would be a fire movie, and honestly, that will set Ermac up to have like 3 or 4 movies on Halloween each year and be like a new face of horror. With that being said, I will give Ermac a tier B. Could be a little higher, but I'm gonna give him a B. Alright, next we have Jade. I never really found her interesting, to be honest, so I'm just gonna give her a D. Yeah. Sorry, Jade fans. Alright, next we have Jax. And about Jax, you can just kind of give him a origin story about his metal arms. And in this universe, he wouldn't be losing it to Noob Saibot. He would be losing it in maybe a military accident, something blown up and both of his arms got blown off, or, on a police field. But, he can now become a super juggernaut for like the military, or, stop villains in a town or something. Something different for Jax than, getting his arm ripped off by another Mortal Kombat character. But if you want, you could keep it the same, and then the main villain could be Noob Saibot to get revenge for ripping his arms off. But for Jax's story, it'd just be his origin story on how he got his arms and how he got his powers with his arms and stuff like that. Another one I had is if Jax was how Jax lived in his Revenant life, like what happened after he became back a human. And we don't really we see a little bit in MK11 about how it affected Jax really, but we never really knew how much it affected him. So yeah, that would be a pretty interesting one to do for Jax, and I feel like that would really show an interesting story with Jax. But no further ado, I'm going to put Jax in the A tier. All right, next up we have Johnny Cage. Now, before the wife, before the kids, before the tournament, we can show Johnny Cage, the actor, beforehand and show basically what his life was before the MK tournament, and what he did, what type of movies he was doing, what he was doing in his actual life and stuff like that. I feel like it would be a very funny comedy action try to save the girl type movie as as how Johnny Cage is, and it would be a funny movie. I don't know who they would cast. They would have to cast someone that is funny and charismatic. Honestly, in my opinion, they should cast The Miz because The Miz would play Johnny Cage so well. But to each their own. I'm not a director or anything, but yeah, Johnny Cage. You could show the origin how he got his powers, but you don't have to do the origin for everyone. You could just show like one of the villains he faced, someone trying to come after his money or something like that, someone trying to come after his fame, anything like that for Johnny Cage, and he just kick ass and do stuff like he does in a regular game and stuff like that. So with no further ado, I am gonna put Johnny Cage in S tier. Might be a little biased, he's one of my favorite, but yeah, he's going to S tier. So Cry River. All right, next we got Cabal, former Black Dragons member turned cop, seeks revenge on members of the Black Dragons. Simple as that. As you know, in the original timeline, Kano is the one who turns him into a mutant, I would say, as you see right here in the video. And it would just be Cabal trying to get revenge on Kano and the Black Dragons for turning him into a mutant. He was supposed to die, and he got brought back to life, and now he has super speed. So in Cabal's movie, I feel like a very simple point is going to be Cabal trying to fight Kano, which Kano would be his villain. Now, I know I said I would get every MK character their own movie, but some of them, like I said, will have movies with each other to show a different story. So with Cabal, it would be with Kano, and when I get to Kano, it will also be with Cabal, but I will get there in a second when I'm explaining Kano's side of the movie. But yeah, Cabal, super speed versus Kano, be a good movie. And I'll give Cabal a S tier as well, second S tier. And now on the other side, from Kano's perspective of the movie, he would kind of be like the leader of the Black Dragons, and he would just try to essentially capture Cabal for portraying the group, joining the other side. Because before, Cabal was a part of the Black Dragons, and then he soon after joined the police, and then he got burned during the Mortal Kombat crisis, and then Kano transformed him into that mutant. And Cabal, obviously, he was angry at the time, and he would be angry at Kano, and he would try to get revenge, killing most of the Black Dragon members and seeking revenge on the one who turned him, Kano. And Kano, on the other end, will be trying to kill Cabal because he betrayed him, he didn't respect what he did for him, and saving him. So overall, it will be a great movie, having two main characters from the Mortal Kombat series trying to fight each other, and I feel like it'll be really good for both of them. But since the movie is mostly about Cabal, I'll give Kano a B for being the antagonist. Now, I'm not going to lie. Kenshi is one of the coldest people in this universe. Honestly, I don't care what they do with him, as long as his scenes are fucking dope. Like, the sword moving, the telekinesis, all his shit should be fire in whatever movie he has. And honestly, you could just tell him, maybe he's an assassin or assassins are after him, or you can show how he became a blind swordsman from his ancestors. Whatever you do, Kenshi should be a fucking demon. Like, he should have one of the best cinematics, one of the best CGIs, one of the best scenes we've ever seen, because he is a cold ass character. I know I'm fanboying right now, but Kenshi is really one of the ones. So honestly, give him the keys to the city. But no further ado, let's Should I give him an S? I've been glazing him this whole time. Yeah, I'm gonna give Kenshi a S, you know, glazing all. Alright, next we have the sisters Melina and Katana. Like I said, some of these people won't have their own solo movies, but you cannot tell a story of these two without each other. Obviously, Melina being a words are not coming right now. The copy of her sister Katana made by their stepfather Shao Kahn, and that's literally the whole story. Melina made to serve her father, and Katana is, you know, the original daughter of Selena, my god, Sindel. Sorry guys, it's like 10 in the morning. And yeah, that's would basically be the story about how one sister was made to be the complete opposite of the other sister, and now they're trying to, you know, fight, see who's the better sister, stuff like that. Or maybe they team up together to take out their father and mother. Whatever it is, you cannot tell a story about Katana and Melina without the other person. So yeah. And for their score, I'm gonna give them a, honestly, I'm gonna give them an S, because you can't really tell a story about the other one, so it will be a fun movie for both of them. Okay, you're gonna hear a lot of glaze again, because if you guys don't know, if you guys haven't seen my TikTok of my old videos about MK, Kung Lao is my favorite character of all time in Mortal Kombat. So I'm gonna try to keep the glaze down like I did for Kenshi. But basically, Kung Lao's story would basically be about, you know, his, is this his father or his grandfather, the great Kung Lao, and he tries to live up to that name. How he gets his fucking hat, how he finds the hat, and basically how he tries to replicate becoming the great Kung Lao, as his name is Kung Lao. So he tries to live up in those shadows, and he tries to move up as a monk, a Shaolin monk. He tries to move up in the ranks, goes on missions, gets an enemy, stuff like that. But yeah, that's Kung Lao. That would be a very interesting story. Look, it's not gonna be S. I will say that right now, it's not gonna be S, but it's still going to be high, because Kung Lao is, like I said, one of my favorite characters, so there is some bias in here. So once again, if you have a different opinion, I don't care. But yeah, I'm going to give him an A tier, because yeah, still my favorite. Alright, for the last one, the golden child of MK. This is the last one for part 1 of this series. We're going with Liu Kang. And what else can I say about Liu Kang besides, you know, you could tell different stories, how, you know, he became the fire and lightning god, or his times as a Shaolin monk with Kung Lao, or being by himself before he meets Kung Lao, as he's now just Liu Kang, fire powers, the destined one to be next. Or you can tell the story of how Liu Kang won the MK tournament, the one where he defeats Guru and he has to do it again. That's the MK9 storyline. But you could tell a lot with Liu Kang. I was trying to say Kung Lao, because he is the poster child of MK. You can do anything with him. So with that being said, I am going to give Liu Kang a S tier. You can't give him anything less than S tier. Yeah, like I said, he's the poster child. So, but yeah, this is the end of the video. If you guys like the video, like, subscribe, do all those fun things. Doesn't hurt. And you might get a cookie. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna dip out, and I'll see you guys in the flash.